It's crazy. It's like you're looking at shells and you're like, what was meant to be here?
Yeah. Did you experience that?
Yeah. I went to Costco.
Yeah.
Got some stuff there, but left without a lot of stuff.
Really?
So things like tissues. There's no tissues.
Wow.
No toilet roll. No tomatoes. No tinned tomatoes.
When was this?
Thursday or Friday.
Really?
So even on Saturday, or was it Sunday? When I said, "Oh, don't worry about the kale," I passed through Tesco's because I was thinking, "Oh, let me just see if they've got some toilet roll there." There's nothing.
Oh my God!
But I picked up. What did I get instead? I've forgotten actually. But I picked up something else. I think maybe the tomatoes.
Yeah,
it's bad.
I think I'm kind of spoiled really because like my aunt has been looking after all that stuff. Like she's not a hoarder, but she's quite like good with like bulk buying stuff just generally. Even so like when it came to stuff like essentials, toilet paper and stuff like that, like it was there. Like I saw like this big I don't know, like 24 pack or whatever.
Wow.
But yeah, like quite
intense actually.
Yeah.
I feel like today when at this meeting, I really felt like, wow, it felt so real. Like the fact that, you know, because like our advice is changing completely. Even when you're thinking about delivering like cancer treatments, we are now going for safe practice instead of best practice. So it's no longer what is best for a particular tumor group. For example, you might find that for some breast patients, having chemotherapy up front and then having surgery followed by further radiotherapy is best treatment. So that's an example. But now the change is to do safe practice. So you don't want to immunocompromise people. So you don't want to give them chemotherapy that's going to get them suppress their immune system. So you'd rather give them surgery and then give them give them surgery, give them maybe hormones or something to kind of control things, and then think about giving chemotherapy at a much later stage, hopefully when all this is over. Yeah. So it feels quite a lot.
Yeah,
at the moment.
it feels like it's been quite intense for you. Is it? So was it today, like the big day where they made all these changes?
So looking at increasing frontline, like nurses on the front line, putting people from all sorts of places to work on the wards, basically to deliver care, because it's just a massive shortage from.
So you were saying that they're gonna change one of your.
Yeah, so I don't want to obviously give too much away, but we're looking at getting people who are in different positions as nurses to work looking after people who are exhibiting symptoms of the COVID-19.
But would it be people that are exhibiting symptoms who
are
also
unwell.
Cancer patients?
No.
Oh.
Yeah. No.
Oh.
Yeah. So if someone is unwell at home with it, and I said the guidance is you don't just ring 111.
Mm-hmm.
You don't ring 111, sorry, if you're well and feeling and you have symptoms. You only ring them if you cannot cope with the symptoms that you have.
Right.
So when you're temperature, automatically the thing you want to do is like come and support me. So that has changed. You now need to try as best as you can, isolate yourself, do everything that you can to look after yourself. And then when you cannot cope with the symptoms, when you're struggling with your activities of daily living, for example, then you call in and say, I am Nansakwanis.
Right. Is it the 10-pound test? My aunt was telling me about the 10-pound test. Basically the difference between a cold and a flu is that if there's 10 pound like across
outside
or like just a distance or like
yeah,
a meter away
can you
from
get up
you.
and go for it?
If you're not bothered, then you've got the flu. Then you're like really sick.
Yeah.
This is yeah. Anyway, let's introduce ourselves in case we've got new people listening. Welcome to Girl Guys podcast with me, Natasha.
And Xolie.
And I sometimes go by Nat.
Sometimes go by Michelle.
Oh, Michelle.
So yeah, it's a lot, man.
Yeah, but gotta stay safe and so what about? Because my question is like, what about healthcare professionals? People on the front line. Like, what is there anything being done to kind of protect you guys? Because you guys can't social distance because you have to administer like.
Yeah. Well, we can't. I mean, it's tricky because you need people looking after people who are unwell, and the worry is that as time progresses, those people end up having issues themselves. So then now you need another batch of people, another wave of people. So this is going to sound terrible, but in essence, now is probably the time to get now. Do you get it? Because can you imagine 2 months from now? Now the nurse who works in ITU is no longer working in ITU, but she's got it.
Yes.
That means that somebody else is now in her spot, and that person may not necessarily have the skills that nurse had.
Right.
So they can get. I'm a nurse. But when was the last time you're saying the wedding? Do you get what I mean? So the skills are going to be different.
Right.
But you'll be looked after.
No, it's kind of weird because you're working like obviously we have to be careful about work, but I'm also like we're working on the other end of it, which is basically trying to see how there's two things, kind of like how does the voluntary sector cope with any shocks that it has to absorb. So if people becoming like further into financial hardship, maybe people are like in dire straits, like wanting food banks and all that stuff, what support package can how can you help like civil society? And then on the other hand is kind of like how can you complement efforts to get volunteers, so volunteers to step in responsibly to cover public services. So it's also going to include gearing up volunteers, maybe who are retired nurses and stuff like that. So it's kind of like we're trying to work with you guys to kind of like see like where the gaps will be, like frontline hospitals and also like social care, like the elderly and stuff like that. So how can you like national effort
and how's that going? Like, because I can't imagine.
It's all new. You know what I mean? It's all new, but it's anticipating that wave that you're talking about. People on the front line won't be able to cope. How do you then fill in that gap also with volunteers?
And it's fair and fine to have volunteers, but there's certain thing, like you're talking about this corona is the way it exhibits itself is the skill sets that you need. If you're unwell, you need to be on a ventilator. You need to, if you're on life support, then it's like knowing how to actually work that, So this is what I mean. See, now is the time when you have people who are not people who are going to be trained by and by. Okay, you turn it on like here. This is kind of what you expect.
What happens like with people who are like nurses and doctors who also have underlying health conditions?
Yeah, so that was something that was raised today in that okay, so I want to that was raised today.
Yeah.
So we don't know. So ideally they shouldn't be working in direct contact with people. But like I said, Korogo Tina working with Awandawale cancer, people are coming up and we're not really sure symptoms. You know, so chances are maybe some of us are already infected.
Because the thing is, like, underlying anything, like, because they're even saying, like, if you're diabetic, whatever, and obviously immunocompromised and all that stuff. So obviously, I know, like, with some certain things, like, if you work, like, in healthcare, you have to self-declare so that they know. But there may be other things, like, maybe diabetic, whatever, where you didn't want to, like, declare. Not that you didn't, I mean, it's your business, you know, like, there are some things that you do. So now it's kind of like, you know, I guess a lot of people have to be faced with, like, oh, okay, let me declare this is, you know, like, because some things although there's the option to, like,
you wouldn't.
Yeah, I suppose. I know there are certain things where you definitely have to, like, you know, you have to declare.
But if you've got high blood pressure, then
yeah, but you could, like, just keep that to yourself. Do you know what I mean? You could keep that to yourself.
Yeah.
So,
but I have to say, like, you know, it's just also the impact. Like, so Virgin Atlantic has cuts, like, I think I told. I've gotten the number. I want to say 7,000. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. 1,000 employees to basically take unpaid leave for 2 months. Unpaid leave, because for them, I guess, they're grounding at least 80% of their fleet.
Yeah.
So if they've got no one flying, if they've got no one taking off or no air controllers, then they are not getting any money in. But it's just like, can you imagine the impact of that? So
oh my
if
God,
they said to you,
Lord, if my employer said to me, take unpaid leave,
I would die.
Oh my God, kill me now. What?
It's crazy. For 2 months.
Yeah. And you know, we're talking about, like, that's just the impact of this whole thing. Like, I think at first, obviously, it's kind of like, okay, did you hear, like, the UK, the latest press, whatever, saying,
of course, yeah.
But it was,
it's very confusing.
I can't really say. I can't really talk.
It's really confusing.
Yeah.
So pubs, stay away from
pubs, restaurants, theatres.
But the pubs, restaurants, and theatres are still open.
But that's why they're complaining. Because the thing is,
it's very confusing.
No, because if you, from an insurance point of view, if you think about it, if the government hasn't said you should close, then if you're claiming insurance,
I see.
I think,
yeah,
because I think in the States, I was listening to Trump now, their latest one. I think they've said, I think they've in the fine print they've said that they should close, right? And then, yeah, I mean, for me, I was just listening to the, like, Trump. I think they've been, like, in America, they've been doing it every day, like these press conferences. But, you know, like, here, it's just been a different, obviously,
it's a different vibe.
Probably you and I can't really talk too much about it.
It's a different vibe.
But okay, what I wanted to say is,
but can I just give it out to, like, I know you do essay and stuff, but France, President Macron has, obviously, there's total lockdown, social distancing. They're looking at suspending, like, utility bills, you know, kind of, there's a solidarity fund by the state for the unemployed. So they're really, like, of putting in, I'm like, that is leadership, because putting people under such pressure, what you know what, if you are not able to work, if you're exhibiting systems, you're unable to work, and you're putting someone under such pressure, there is no income coming from anywhere. It's a lot. And I read somewhere that the UK was saying that if you're exhibiting symptoms and you carried on as normal, you could be fined up to £1,000.
Nah, I think that's fake.
You think so?
No, there's no way that could be a government policy.
Wow, let me see if I can find it.
No way. Nah.
So what's happening in South Africa?
There's no way. So So in SA, the president came out. So I actually watched it live. I always actually watched it live because obviously, like I've been talking about going to SA, going home and stuff like that. But anyway, they came out strong. Travel ban. They banned travelers from Italy, Iran, South Korea, Spain, Germany, UK, US, and China. Those were the countries mentioned. I'm pretty sure that they'll add to it because they were saying those are the like high risk countries. And so they advised, so the travel ban, if you're from those countries going to South Africa, also South Africans advised not to travel to the same countries effective immediately, whatever. Prohibited gatherings of more than 100. Schools closed from the 18th of March until at least the 23rd of April. So that is South Africa, like proper lockdown. And then I was talking to somebody who was saying that because Cyril Ramaphosa was supposed to give the address at a certain time or like a 5 or something, and people were waiting like hours. And then they were saying
I
that
was watching what's that program? Date My Family. I saw something. Someone was
or someone was saying he was watching Date My Family. Do you know what SA Twitter is? South African social media is just something else. So they were saying like he was consulting. So he was consulting with certain stakeholders because I can imagine that with all these different bans and stuff like that, you'd have to call up like the UK, call up the USA. This is what we're looking to do and stuff like that. So I was actually speaking to somebody about that, who said that they are part of the what is it? The National Disaster Management Structure. And then basically said that they were giving input, and then the obviously the consideration in South Africa is that like 20+% of the population has a compromised immune system. So they have to be kind of like more heavy-handed with it. Yeah, with it. Whereas again, that's why like in the UK, like I don't know if you saw this thread where there's been talk about herd immunity.
Yeah.
But I think there's been some sort of distancing away from that, which is, let people catch it, like let it do its thing, because you can't contain it.
No.
But obviously I think like a country like South Africa, even a country like Zim, can't afford to say let's do that because
we don't have the adequate resources.
Exactly.
Well. What can I read? Speaking about adequate resources, I saw something that made me laugh as well. Like, you have to, if you don't laugh, you will end up crying.
Yeah.
I saw something. I think it was from Norway, and these guys, so basically, it's the Norwegian University, like the Norwegian University of Science and Technology, who kind of came in and said, in accordance with the recommendations from Ministry of Foreign Affairs, blah, 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 they're strongly recommending all the students who are outside, gets us from this particular university, who are outside Norway to return home. And they're like, this applies especially if you're staying in a country with poorly developed health services and infrastructure or collective infrastructure. And they guess which country?
Of course, the teapot.
No, for example, the USA.
Are you for real?
I was like, shades.
You're going to say, for example, Zim.
No. Can you imagine comparing USA? I mean, I guess the whole insurance bit.
Listen, you have to. Like, when you're going to the States, you have to buy insurance.
Guys.
That covers you for like, I remember when I was buying my insurance, like, what is it, like $1 million or something like that?
Are you serious?
No, because do you know how much you can spend?
Yeah.
So, oh my gosh. Yeah.
I love that, man.
So it's interesting to kind of see like the different country responses. Yeah, so SA was quite, like, we'll see. But obviously, like, South African Twitter was now like,
can you see
like, can we do like our shifts for group? Like have 80 people there, 80 people back,
80 people going. And then my little sister sent me a message today. She was like, So one of my colleagues has just been sent home because her sister from the UK visited.
Oh my
She's like,
God.
can you come and visit me? I was like, Sandra, seriously.
But was the sister having symptoms or something?
I don't know. She must have. If they're asking her to quarantine as well.
Hey, so that's the thing. Now, the thing is now when we go home, they'll be like, you're from the UK. They'll be distancing themselves so much. Distancing. I was like, and then Kenya, Kenya's similar, learning suspended, day schools closed from Monday, 16th of March, boarding schools given up until Wednesday to ensure that all the kids are home, and all universities have to be closed by Friday,
the
20th of March.
But can you imagine? I was also seeing something on social media with people like, hey, I have to quarantine with my 2 kids, with my 7 kids, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So can you imagine, you get into a bit of a habit where you send your bundles of joy to school, you go to work. Yeah. Now you're at home 24/7 with your bundles of joy. Hey!
I mean,
I did not even thinking how hard it would be, like if you had a partner and stuff. Can you imagine 24
I think it would be nice.
It would be nice for a few days, but then you drive each other mad. Because you're not able to do things to kind of relieve pressure of being under the same household. It's true. If you're isolating, it's not like you can go out.
Can't you go into your car?
But what fun is that? Just to go into your car
and just listen to music, just chill,
It's really important to have space,
right? I think that's what I would do. I would like go to the car and stuff like that. I mean, I'm trying to think. To be honest with you, I don't know. I feel like I would want to be with like my person, but as long as we were the type of people that enjoy space. What I can't really get my hand right is if imagining for all my wanting to have a child. Can you imagine me with the little kid 24/7? I can't see it.
You can't?
Nah.
But that's motherhood. That's parenthood, not even just motherhood. Fathers do it too.
I know, but can you imagine me like?
You won't. Having your baby it's so precious. It's literally like, when they're not crying,
that's the thing. I don't know if I've got the patience. Like, I feel like
for your own child, you will. It's easy to question that when you don't have, when you're dealing with someone else's child, because right? Now.
Yeah.
But when it's yours, you're not like, oh, but what is it? What's wrong?
Yeah.
You start making all those funny, also be like, oh, all right, Nan. It changes.
I can imagine. But okay, like, have you ever like, obviously like you're a mom, but like, it's funny enough because I was listening to this podcast, Mama Drama. My friend Raquel, like, anyway, I'll talk about it. So have you, like when your friends or whatever like become new parents and like they totally change. Like, have you ever experienced that?
That change how?
Like, they become so all about their child.
Yeah. You don't expect that?
No, you do, but like...
No, bear in mind
how do you like adapt to, because obviously their world has changed.
Yeah, of course.
It's not even like it's like even maybe if they get married and stuff like that.
But it's interesting how, okay, it's not interesting. Interesting is the wrong word. When something is happening to you.
Yeah.
For you, that is your whole world, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So if it's your first baby, that is going to be your whole world.
Yeah.
You're counting there the number of little fingers, the number of little toes, and it's not just happy things. It's also things like, you experience loss. When that happens to you as an individual, like your whole world stops, right?
Your whole world changes,
and I'll be looking at the outside world thinking, but how is it that you're still able to laugh and smile and I'm grieving? It's the same when you're You corona sis going and
I repeat you in Jesus' name.
How long have you had that?
I repeat you in Jesus' name.
Let's start asking these questions. But yeah, so I guess I don't know. Do you feel like people take it a little bit?
No. I think it's, like we're saying, like it becomes like your whole world. Like when things happen to you, like you're excited about it and whatever. And naturally, I think then what happens is that's why sometimes even like friendships like change because maybe maybe if you get married, maybe you have some more in common, maybe with other married couple, maybe just sharing little things, whatever. Like when you become a mom, naturally like it changes. And I think there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Like even say, for example, like if you think about us, like I can see the difference even in people that I relate to, even like ever since I started doing the pod, because maybe someone's like, oh my God, she's always on about the podcast. But again, you know what? That's a passion. Do you know what I mean? And then naturally you will then align with other people that are maybe creatives and kind of understand that thinking of trying to push something. But I was thinking the other day, because Chimamanda, one of my sheroes. So she talked about like performative motherhood. Yeah. Because she like had a child, like she got married, like no one knew. I don't think anyone has even ever seen her child. And she was just saying that well, the way that I took it was just more like, she didn't want to perform motherhood. So when you talk about like being performative is doing stuff like for an audience. Sometimes not always for an audience, but like you kind of have an audience. And I think sometimes and I kind of thought about that and I was like, I wonder how I would be like, if
yeah,
God willing, like I
would you tweet like would you be putting pictures of your child up on the internet?
I probably would on Instagram, but I would have a private account, and I would probably be one of those annoying parents that has a page for my child on Instagram, like a private, but because I want them to have like their, like to say, like it will almost be like the photo album, because remember nowadays you don't even have a photo, so I'll probably have, but I don't think I would tweet pics. I've managed to be in the whole relationship and not share it, and pretend I wasn't.
No, I 100% wouldn't. I'd be the sort of person who would not tweet or on Instagram or something, put a picture of a finger. Because
so on Instagram you wouldn't put a picture of?
No, not up until they were a lot older. Like as a baby, no.
Really?
No.
Would you put like on Instagram stories? Like would you?
Nope.
No, but I'm saying on a private account, not a public account.
Well, what for?
Really?
No, I wouldn't.
So I think I would. I think
you would too.
Yeah, I think. Do you think so?
Yeah. I think even on Twitter, you'd even.
I would never post. I would put a hand. Even if I were to get married on Twitter, I would never post.
No, I would never.
I would never post like wedding I would post a picture of myself and I'd be like, oh, what? Today was a great day to get married. I'm so.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't post pictures of my baby. I wouldn't post pictures of my other half.
No, I wouldn't. So I have a different reason why I wouldn't post a picture of my other half. Because men will embarrass you.
That is true.
So
that is true.
I will. The most you can get out of me is the homie or my fave. Like maybe on Instagram stories, like
that.
Like when you do the selfies, like oh my fave, or like the homie. Like, all right. Then like like the caption.
Oh, okay.
But me posting, So I'm so happy that I've never posted
A guy.
maybe ages ago.
Yeah.
I think
Same.
Kudala when I was
And
on
never
Facebook. Let me think. Yeah, I think when we were on Facebook, long back, used to post.
And then we learn.
Then you learn that you be posting a member, he belongs to the streets. And then
men will educate you.
And then afterwards, I think I used to post like maybe on the gram, like on some like group. Like, like in groups, like, hanging out with the broskies or like men, like, but I know, but I kind of regret like not having but me, honestly, moving on, maybe I'll post my husband, but even him, I don't think so. I'll
be that person who posts that in fact a smiley face over his face.
No, I wouldn't even post him.
Nah, that's true.
Honestly, I would not even. And worse, say if I were to get married to, this is gonna sound, I'm gonna get dragged. But if I'm gonna get married, say maybe to a guy who has been married, you've enjoyed you've had your opportunity. You've had your opportunity.
What more do you want? You want it to be posted again?
You want to post again? Another wedding?
You cannot.
This is my time to shine.
No,
sit back.
Exactly.
I agree.
Like, no. I agree.
So that you post, so that you post this man, and then someone will be like, exactly. I will die.
They'll be like, this nigga be in my DMs. You're like, hey.
No, I use what happened to the 2005. I will die.
So talking to usephinda futhi uNdlovu. uNdlovu sethathile.
The new one.
What happened to the old one?
You will not bring shame to my name. You will not. Remember, I used to tell you, your friend, the one in. Yeah, I said that to him. I said, you had your own wedding.
You had your opportunity. So this wedding is for me.
Oh, I was just like, hell no. Yeah. Like I will not. And yeah, kids, like I will name them and everything. But yeah, but I think I kind of also think it's sad because we're not doing it because we've been hurt.
Exactly.
Whereas when you're purely like
in love and foolish.
But it's beautiful.
Joking. I know love
and
is beautiful.
And you have no
but men have ruined us.
Yeah, you have no inhibition. Like you've got no reservations. You'll post. You'll be like, oh, hashtag family.
Love is a beautiful thing.
And then people will be screenshotting saying, can you see this one?
So love is a beautiful thing again.
But you know what, guys? I think you should post and everything. But like Kerry Washington.
No, you're right.
Example.
People should post. Love is beautiful, and it's nice to see it with different people. Gives us all hope. So post.
Yeah. But that's the thing. It's just like you'd be like, I don't want to post you and you bring shame to my name.
Do you know what I mean?
Bring shame to my name. Do you know the worst thing is another woman having one up on you?
Yeah. Because you then question yourself. You're like, so what is wrong with me?
You post and then someone is in the comments, kiki, or taking someone. I will kill you.
Hey, can you imagine?
Can you imagine someone taking someone else?
What was the one?
And then I was like, kiki. And then people start snapping on the
guys.
Maybe when you get engaged. And then people start saying, hey, you people. Can you imagine when you get engaged, right? And then people are on the timeline saying, so is, and you're like, I posted my Lobola pictures today, and are talking about some man who you cannot believe is the one getting married. This better not be my man.
It's so true. It's so true, man. But guys will embarrass you, hey? Guys will humble you.
Yay.
Men. Hey.
Oh, remember we were talking about the cheating. God, what happened? There was something on the timeline about cheating. Well, I don't know what was but I know I then tweeted a story about
yes.
That's
what who told you I was a good person?
Yeah, but how did it start?
I've forgotten.
There was something on Twitter, but basically one of my friends. Oh, you know this person.
You told me. You told me.
I told you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's he?
So you know the guy. So basically, what happened is, for purposes of this story, I'm remixing it, right? Because I can't give it away. But let's just say one of my friends, her husband had an infidelity incident. That's what I'm calling it, infidelity incident. But man's was full blown in love with this other woman. Real talk, right? And basically she then confronted her husband and said, you know what? From an honest place was you know what? You are literally the last person I would have expected to do this, because I always speak so highly of you and I always tell my friends and family, Ubani, you know, he's a stand-up guy. He would never do that. And literally this guy turned around and said, Kantiwena, who told you that I'm a good person?
Guys, who told you I was a good person?
He was like, Kantiwena, who I'll say it in the when I'm who gave you the liver? Who gave you the liver or the nerve to go around speaking for me? And you know the worst thing is in situations like this, I'm sure maybe you've come across it. You know when you confront a guy, you kind of go through the cycle of maybe him denying, and then there's evidence, and then him being stum, he can't say anything, and then him being apologetic, and then because he's not really
he's
not healing your heart, you keep going on, and then by week 3 he's I don't no F's given, and he's yo, God, why are you still here?
It's hard, man. But you know, this is a thing that I feel like women, we deal with so much trauma.
Yeah.
It's a lot, you know, and how we're expected to heal. We're expected to be the backbone, families, you know, the foundation of families. But we deal with so much trauma, and the trauma starts from the time you enter into relationships, right? Do you know, I was even thinking today, this man on the train really annoyed me. I'm sitting there, I mind my own business, trying not to catch the Rona. And he's busy. Nyambona is a whole man, probably old enough to be my father, is there trying to he's wearing his waiting band. I'm like, this man, you know, I'm trying to protect. Yeah, so he's trying to catch my eye. Then I went and I started, well, I also talk on, hello. I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to protect myself from the coronavirus. I had to learn to protect myself from you, a married man.
Okay, no, let's tell the story. Do you remember when we went to my... When we went to I don't want to say, you and I went to something a gathering, right? And do you remember there was this man?
Yeah.
Right. So basically what happened is me and God, it was a house, there was something full of people, and I was outside with you and my other cousin, whatever, right? And then this guy kept, you can tell when someone is trying to catch your eye. Remember, he came out to us, right? And literally he was asking for my number. Do you remember? And he was like, oh, I like you guys. You guys are cool. But he wasn't really making sense. He was like, oh, you guys, you guys are cool. Do you do hosting? I was like, huh? I was a little bit confused, bizarre. Right? And then, because I didn't want to be rude, because this person was related to someone, right? So then I just put in my number, whatever. And then he's like, oh, whatever, you're beautiful. Right? Do you remember we got into the kitchen? And his wife was there. Do you know, that's the day I was like...
Men are really something else.
Your wife is here.
Yeah.
I'm
and you know, people will turn around and say, "Oh, you don't know what he wanted."
No, because
he was very clear, that one.
Yeah, because I was just like, "What the heck?" And the wife is there. I'm like, wait a minute. And he called me the next day. I remember I was at work. He called me. He was like, oh, it's me, so and so from, and I was just like,
but you know, it brings me to like, should we just have open relationships and just, you know, because
because I think like that is, if that's not what you want, that's I remember I saw a tweet where someone was like, are we now accepting these things because you haven't been accepted as enough? So now you're kind of conditioning yourself. But what I will say is that's why I always say men are an inspiration. I love listening to guys, especially say if there's a guy that maybe you used to talk to or used to like or whatever, and then that's over and you guys are now friends and you actually listen to them speak unfiltered.
Guys,
you will learn a lot.
So much.
You will learn so much. Like I was talking to, I was about to say who, but I can't. I'll get in trouble because his partner listens. But basically this person, I say to him, I was like, listen, do you like want to get married or whatever? Then this person was like, you know what? The honest truth, he was like, a lot of guys, like, we don't necessarily want to get married. He was like, if I had to choose between marriage and success, I will choose success because with success, I'll always have women.
Yeah.
Right? But he's like, the thing that drives me is success. Like this other thing is because maybe I've identified that this person is a jam and I'm thinking that, in 10, 15 years time, I don't want to regret that I didn't bring her along. But I know that's what she wants. And he was like, to be honest, the only thing that even makes me think about that is because, and this particular person is Christian. And he was like, it's literally the word of God. That's the thing that kind of convicts me and makes me think, you know what? This is how I want to model my family. Otherwise, if I had the option and I didn't have to marry her and I could be with her and then later on be with someone else, like have two women, that would be my preference. And then it kind of made me think, and I was talking to someone else and she was saying she had a conversation with like one of our friends and he kind of said the same thing. And he said that the problem is like women, what we value and what men value. And again, this is being generalistic. It doesn't mean it applies to everyone. He was like, the problem is that we as women, we should look for what it is that we want and then try and go for that.
Yeah.
So do you want someone who aligns with your brand so that, you know, you achieve big things, you become a political cup or whatever? Do you want someone who you think they've got they come from good stocks that you can have?
I thought you were going to say good denominators. I was like waiting for it. So like, shit.
No, so that maybe you want children who are intelligent. Like we need to be, but I think that's not how we're wired.
No, it's not.
To be honest.
We are just so trusting or so loving.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, but that is us. That is us. So we're hoping the Rona won't disrupt
future recordings.
But if we have to stay safe.
Oh, wait. Before you do the music, can I read out something?
Yeah, go on.
So this is something, it's called the Desiderata.
Oh my God. Did I put that on the thing?
On the web?
Okay, go on.
I love this poem. So I think I must have read this when I was like, I guess poetry has always been a part of my life. I must have read this when I was still like in high school and I remembered it. So Desiderata, I don't know who wrote it, but it says, go placidly amid the noise and haste and remember what peace there may be in silence. As far as possible without surrender, be on good terms with all persons. Speak your truth quietly and clearly and listen to others, even the dull and ignorant. They too have their story. Avoid loud and aggressive persons. They are vexations to the spirit. If you compare yourself with others, you may become vain and bitter. For always, there will be a greater and lesser person than yourselves. Enjoy your achievements as well as your plans. Keep interested in your own career, however humble, it is a real possession in the changing fortunes of time. Exercise caution in your business affairs, for the world is full of trickery. But let this not blind you to what virtue there may be. For what virtue there is, many persons strive for high ideals, and everywhere life is full of heroism. Be yourself. Especially do not feign affection, neither be cynical about love. For in the face of all aridity and disenchantment, it is perennial as grass. Take kindly the counsel of years, gracefully surrendering the things of youth. Nurture strength of spirit. Nurture strength of spirit to shield you in sudden misfortune. But do not distress yourself with imaginings. Many fears are born of fatigue and loneliness. Beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. I love that.
Oh my God.
And whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. Therefore, be at peace with God, whatever you conceive him to be, and whatever your labors and aspirations. In the noisy confusions of life, keep peace with your soul. With all its sham, drudgery, and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world. Be careful. Strive to be happy.
I love that.
I love it so much.
And I think it matched with the music as well.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I think we should have more of that.
Yeah, right? I love it.
I'd love to hear you reading like an excerpt or something. And there's a part that says something about your spirit to shield you from
nurture your strength of spirit to shield you from sudden misfortune.
So in that made me think about, even with everything that we don't have the answers for everything. I know there's a lot of panic, there's a lot of anxiety out there, but this is the time to tap into your inner, tap into your spirit, your soul. There's a reason why we feed these things. We feed them in different ways. I know people have different belief systems, but if maybe you're like someone who's going to church, like listens to the word as an example, maybe this is a time to really tap into what we've been feeding, what we've been, whatever you've been, the affirmations that you've been giving. This is the time to tap into that.
Absolutely.
Because that's what life is.
Yeah.
There will come a time where you have to dig deeper. So I think this is and trust that, there's a deeper core in you. Do you know what I mean? So I think this is the time where basically, you've got it, guys. So